And we're back with Stefan Mychaliw, who, as I introduced him the first time, is a big shot Republican, spends a lot of time in New York and Washington. We just finished the incentive behind your president to be mean to Canada and promise tariffs. Why is it changing so often? It seems to me that it's changing out of the Oval Office. And the last time we discussed tariffs, we came up with NAFTA, or that other name that no one ever knows, the successor to NAFTA. It took teams of negotiators and people who knew what was going on in all the goods and services going back between Canada and the United States, and it took a while to deal with it. Now, Trump is a capable man, but he can't negotiate this by executive order out of the Oval Office, I don't think.
It sounds like that's exactly what he's doing, though. It's almost
but it's not going anywhere, though.
But I really don't. At the end of the day, I don't think it's this kind of like ready, fire, aim philosophy that's kind of just shooting randomly. I do think, and there's a saying in politics that goes back to biblical days of basically being as wise as a serpent, as soft as a dove. And I think that's exactly what President Trump is doing when it comes to whether it's Canada or any foreign nation, from my perspective, to say the least. He's trying to negotiate from a position of strength, and I don't think he gives a damn what Canada or other nations think. And that's exactly what I voted for. It's what 300 plus a million Americans voted for, is the commander-in-chief is going to say, you know what? I don't care if Canada's feelings are hurt by me saying they're going to be the 51st state or calling Trudeau governor. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm an America First president. I'll let the chips fall where they may.
Well, I mean, in this election we just finished, many Canadians and the Liberals, the winning Liberals, were saying, give us a strong mandate so we can tell Trump that Canada is solidly behind the Canadian government. And I thought about that, and I think probably, as you would say, Trump doesn't give a darn what Canadians think and how much they support their Canadian government.
Or anybody for that respect, which is why I was blown away at the election results. My thought process was the Canadian election of 2025 was very similar to the American election in 2020, where Democrats, independents were thinking it was a mandate on President Trump. No one thought, okay, let's vote on securing the border. Let's vote on lowering taxes. Let's vote on making sure we have fair trade deals. In America in 2020, the vote was, I don't like President Trump, I'm voting against him. And it seems as though that was the Canadian election of 2025. It wasn't about tariffs. It wasn't about negotiations. It wasn't about taxes. It wasn't about health care. It's let's vote for someone who's going to stand up to that bully Donald Trump.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. In other elections, the last three, we had Mr. Trudeau elected. Many people said, well, I like him.
I don't understand that.
I like him. Are we in a state of politics now where you vote, either I like this guy or I don't like this guy? Because the evidence is that many people wanted to vote conservative in the Canadian election, but they say, I don't like that Poilievre guy, which is hard to fathom.
I never understood that. And again, how did that work out for America in 2020? And again, as you mentioned, I'm a hardcore Republican. I'm a Trump supporter.
You're an American, so you want the best?
Exactly. I don't understand how people said, you know what? I don't like Donald Trump's mean tweets. He's angry. He's a bully. I'm going to vote against him. You're basically voting against your self-interest based on an emotion of not liking a candidate. And I think that's what happened in Canada in 2025. I don't think people were voting about whether it's socialized medicine or government-run medicine or cutting taxes or creating a culture where businesses can survive and thrive. It was, I like Mr. Carney. He's going to go against President Trump. That's my guy.
Although in the States, Mr. Trump would send out these tweets and pretty nasty stuff now and then, and he's not known as you aren't going to go around the corner and have a beer with the guy. So all the Americans voted for him because either the Democrats were failing them, or he had this one thing: I'm going to make America great again. I'm going to make it rich, jobs. You're all going to be better.
Well, again, I use the example of 2020. How did that work out for the United States? They voted against Donald Trump. And I don't think it was necessarily a vote for Joe Biden. It was really a vote against Donald Trump. And how did that work out for us? We had wide open borders. Fentanyl flowed freely across every corner of the country, killing our kids, killing people literally in every state in the nation. Wide open border, record high inflation. Folks could not afford groceries, gas, things of that nature to support their family. But at the end of the day, they had the talking point, we got rid of Donald Trump. I think that's what's happening in Canada in 2025.
I think that's what was happening. Now, what is going to be happening and how we should deal with it. When we come back in about 10 seconds, I'm going to be asking you. So I'm just giving you fair warning.
I appreciate that.
I want you, as an American Republican, to give advice to the Canadian Liberal Prime Minister of how to deal with your friend in the Oval Office. And we're going to have that revelation right back after this. Stick with us.